because of smokers. Not only I was pushed out of my job, I wound up with asthma on account of smokers.
That's bull. Asthma is a hereditary disease. I have asthma and I'm a smoker. It's a hereditary disease. It's caused by pollen and other DNA factors.
All you gotta do is you have a right not to enter.
Why don't you get a job and worry about how other people...
Because I can't get a job because I can't.
Why? Because now W.C.B. is making it so none of us have jobs.
Do you want to look out for us? We have no jobs because our children that we can't feed don't have to work. All of us will have a job.
Anyhow, when there's no one working, who's going to take it? There's hazards in all industry. There's hazards in all industry.
Why do they not?
So we gotta have all the, so we gotta like increase the hazards by having all the smoke.
What kind of vehicle do you drive? What kind of vehicle do you drive? There's more chemicals coming out of your vehicle than a cigarette.
And besides, you gotta get from point A to point B in order to have a job. You don't have to smoke in order to have a job.
But our welfare depends on our jobs.
It's our right to smoke. Our ventilation system. So what about those? Those will work.
So why don't we ban smoking in coal mines and Minko lead plants and why don't we ban it all?
They don't have to be 19 to be in our bars. Why should we police it? By the time they get to us, they're already addicted. Start in the schools.
Well, absolutely. They're just trying to start someplace. You know, they're just trying to start
someplace for the children, not us. We have a choice.
You're the adult, for Christ's sake, you idiot! You're the adult!
That's right, I smoke. It's my choice, not the frickin' government's.
And so, we should all the drug.
My daughter doesn't smoke and I enforce her not to.
It's illegal tender. Drug lord. Read. It's illegal. Read. Can you tell me the levels of this? Read. Yeah, read.
I'm a non-smoker.
Yeah, these veterans prove for each country. Real statistics, W.C.B. 300 to 1.
Closed down. I have 4 children that now I cannot support. It's very devastating. We have no business left. All the places are closing down right now.
Yeah. If they're not closing, they're laying off, and that you can talk to most hotel restaurant owners in this town and find out that they've either had to let staff go or cut their hours back so drastically that none of us can afford to earn a living now. And I'd like to know if W.C.B. is going to compensate us.
And give us another job because there's no place we can get a job because nobody's hiring because there's no work out there. There's no business.
Where did you work at?
I worked at the Bing restaurant.
And what is your name?
Sherry Hoffart.
How do you spell your last name?
Hoffarth.
Okay, and your spelling of your first name?
Sherry.
Thanks. And I should get your name too.
Okay, my name is Leslie Lone. What else was it you wanted?
I just need to know the name of the restaurant.
Oh, the Bing restaurant.
B-Y-N-G.
Yes, that's correct.
Mike, we're going to go inside now.
Going in, are we?
Yeah, we're going in.
Fines, but I have not received my fine.
He's been assessed a fine.
I've been assessed a fine. I'm Colin Johnson from the
You're
Heritage Inn.
Colin, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I've heard of yours, Colin. Anybody else that you know?
In town here, not that I'm aware of, because us, the coalition, decided that we would conform to their rules for just, for a certain time, and we'd see what would happen.
So you say you've been assessed a fine, but you don't know how much?
Yeah, and I've got that right here, but and it could be anywhere between $15,000 and $4,000, but I haven't received it. So whether the paperwork's not been done.
And what was it for, as far as you know?
It wasn't for smoking in my establishment. It was for the way that we were directing our staff to handle the situations. Yeah.
Okay, and what did they object to about the way you were directing
That I
your
told
staff?
my staff that to not put themselves in any physical danger with the customer. That if they chose to smoke and refused to, rather than be put into a violent situation, that they just give the person an ashtray rather than have them burn my floor and furniture.
Here. And I would ask that you respect this building, okay, as non-smoking. It's a non-smoking building. I think it's reasonable for us to ask you to conduct this outside. We respect the right of you to assemble. It's everybody's right in the society to do so. However, this is one of our exits for fire, and for safety reasons, I'd ask you to please conduct this outside, and if you don't do so, then I'll have to ask security and the police to remove you from the premises.
Would you please do that?
Okay, is that what you want, sir?
You're asking us to leave because we are in a Crown Corporation building with legitimate business. We have letters from you,
Okay.
and you do not want to talk to us because we're
No,
smoking?
I'd be happy to meet with you, sir, if you put your cigarette out.
So I can't meet with you if I've got a cigarette?
That's right.
Then would you please call the RCMP?
493471's the number.
Non-emergency.
Well, it's unfortunate that, you know, that you want to kind of...
You are telling us,
we'll go that far.
for our establishments, that we have to police this for you, and if we have any problems, to phone the RCMP. We are in your establishment. The same regulation applies in your building as it does in ours. If you have a problem, phone the RCMP.
That's what you tell
Well,
us.
I'm asking you to respect.
And we ask our customers to
workplace.
respect, and they say
Okay.
that they won't.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't solve your problem when you're in your workplace.
So solve yours.
Okay?
We're in yours. Solve yours.
Well, I'm just asking
You guys
you.
created the problem.
Okay?
That's exactly what our customers say is no.
Please, solve your problem.
So you're telling me that you're not prepared to...
We are not prepared to
You
leave.
guys cost.
Excuse me, I'm on your side, by the way. And
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think murderers should have rights any more than I think smokers should have rights, because I think they're all the same people.
You're absolutely
ladies and
right. And we would love to be able to have a non-smoking area in our establishments for you. But their regulations will not allow us to do that.
Yeah. The fact is that, let me just say one thing here. And that is this, is that
Do you have an ashtray?
over the
If you were
past...
sincere, you wouldn't be smoking in here in the first place.
You know, over the past year, since this regulation came in,
Here's a guy that lost his business.
Look at this kids here. Look at intelligence. There's no intelligence. Look at them. They're growing up. They can't understand what's right, what's wrong. Teach the young kids, not the big kids. Look at them. Look at them. They try to understand what's best for them. Who, you? You guys?
Restaurant.
Well, you gonna tell me who? I pay you guys now. I pay everything. The federal government, W.C.B, everyone. Who's gonna look after me now? Who's gonna look after me?
you know, I would be...
Who? I'm gonna go. Please make me. Thank you very much. Give me some money.
That's
Well,
right.
you guys, 17%, you got salary. 17%.
What is your name, sir?
And my name is Nick Paleologopoulos. I was running the bank for 3.5 years now. Nobody has. These
That's
kids,
right, we're all
these
out of
ladies,
work.
nobody has a job.
Are you guys going to write us a check now, a paycheck?
You gonna
to
give me a
support our
job?
families?
For me personally, I feel that I
These
would
people
be
have to
concerned.
beg.
You're paying
These people have to beg to have their jobs, their investment. Who's going to look after them?
Well, who's going to look
Who's
after me?
going to pay their investments, the money they put down here? Who's going to pay?
You're the one person here.
Who's going to pay the money, the investments, all the money they have? You going to give it to them?
You know,
I think you guys are liars. Liars.
Well, there's not a smoker alive today.
You know, the smoking bothers you? You want me to bring more money here? You want to bring more money here for you to enjoy our lives? Oh, you liars.
Where people have been blowing smoke in my face.
Well, you don't have to
You
don't have to go in that establishment then.
Oh, I see. I'm not supposed to have a job. I'm not supposed to go to a
ladies and
restaurant. I'm not
gentlemen.
supposed to go in any other places. I'm
Excuse
supposed
me,
to
ma'am.
be pushed
Excuse
out of
me,
my
ma'am.
job.
Please, I want everybody to please try and stay calm about this. I'm sorry that this has come to this, but I think this can be conducted in a different way. You know, I think that the board is willing to, and the people in the prevention division are willing to listen to what people have to say. There is no reason why there can't be some kind of dialogue. A year ago, when this regulation was first introduced, okay, there wasn't a great deal that was done.
Yes, there was. That's a lie.
So I think it's really important,
We've
though.
been fighting this for 8 months. Nobody would even answer our questions from W.C.B.
This is why we're here. This is why we're here.
Don't go to restaurants and bars if you don't want to.
Stay away from us.
We have
When I
rates
worked
too.
in mine, I had to get on a damn bus
Excuse me.
Excuse
me, ma'am.
smoke blow in my face.
Please, I want people to please stay calm
Get on
here
my equipment.
and try to be reasonable. All right?
Still alive.
What is it that you
Yeah,
want?
not for much longer if you
What do
guys
you
have
think
anything to do
what do
with
you think that we can do here now?
Yeah.
You know?
I can tell you.
Enforce your regulation. Enforce your regulation.
We can do here now.
Yeah, you're
Enforce your
an exception rather than
Show
the
us
rule. You're an exception
how
rather than
to
the rule.
enforce your regulation.
Sir, I'm not interested in getting into confrontation.
No, I'm not
with you
getting into a
personally.
confrontation. I want you to show all of us who are business operators in this community that have to abide by your regulation how we are to enforce it in our establishments so that we do not get fined. Please, enforce your regulation. Show us how you do it.
It's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to it.
You, who are the manager of the local establishment who enforces this regulation, you do not know the answer as to how to do it?
That's the problem.
Then somebody better find out.
I personally don't. However, I would say to you, sir, okay, myself talking to you individually,
very good.
Do you feel that you need to do this here?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because we need a forum to be heard.
You've made your point. Okay.
No, we haven't.
Well, you have to me. Okay, you've made it to me personally.
That's your
understand
okay.
I understand your
We
point.
have made the point that your regulation is unenforceable. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, a lot of establishments have actually come into compliance with this, and are
We've come into
enforcing it.
compliance too, because we have to. And the only reason that we are able to come into compliance is because our customers know that we are still fighting this regulation, and they are willing at this particular point in time, and this particular point in time only, to cooperate with us.
That's right.
Because you're...
Please remember the fundamental reason this came into being. That is to protect workers.
We have no problem.
We are given the responsibility
Workers don't want your protection.
of protecting workers.
But we have no problem with the fact that you want to protect workers. But give us a workable solution so that we do not lose our businesses and our workers lose their jobs while we're trying to protect them.
Give that lady a cigarette.
Yeah, you want a
Now,
cigarette?
I'm already smoking yours.
Well, right on.
I mean, how would you feel? How would you feel
That's
about
my choice. You're
if you were to
still
put your cigarette out
see, she's
and
still here.
individually come into that
Breathing it in,
office with me and
free.
tell me what your problem is? Would you do that?
I won't do that, but they won't.
No. Why you want to go individually? Why don't you listen? Just a minute now.
But we
not
have
too
to
long
have a
ago,
dialogue
not too
about
long
the
ago,
problem.
we met with you in Creston, and you told us we can have a smoking room as long as it is an approved room, all right? And ventilated properly, we can have a smoking room. And all of a sudden now we can't. Why?
That's not true. Well, that's a question I can't answer either.
Well, who the heck can answer it then?
Well, I don't know your situation. Now, the prevention division
and
is
bars.
responsible for this.
That's our only-
Okay, Mr. Mark Peebles and Ron Hazelton, who is his manager, and
You can, sir. You can, sir.
Not within our red line.
Not within your red line zone.
Why not?
I'm not quite sure on this one.
That's what I want to know. Why we cannot have one
Sir, can I just
in our
speak
business?
Can I just speak one word? I've
That
just
was
finished
for the
getting
death
off
of
the
our
phone
freedom of choice.
Earlier this morning with Murray Drylick, he's our local liquor inspector. Now, I have complied, and I have built a smoking room in my establishment at R&B's Grill here in Cranbrook, BC. I can tell you that the ventilation that I provided meets their standards. I have an engineer stamp from W.C.B. that states that my room will work, and it does work. It works really well.
but you
My
cannot
problem
serve
here
liquor.
would give me a minute. Now, when I built the room, I built it within my red line zone to serve alcohol. Murray sends me a letter stating that I cannot license these rooms. But in my particular case, I've built a service window where my employees, who are right now as we speak, are now serving individuals within my smoking rooms. And they are performing their job perfectly. As a matter of fact, the WCB policeman has lunch in my smoking rooms probably 2-3 times a week, and you can ask him. I can't remember his name, but he does come and have lunch in my rooms, and he has service through there. Now, I asked Murray if he could perform his job through the service window. And he said that he could, but he's not about to get in the middle of this controversy between the Liquor Control Board and we as licensees. So if you look at my room, I've made them small enough that we can service people through the rooms, and I know that he can perform his job. It states that he wouldn't be able to card minors if he felt they were underage, or if we had overserved them. Now he can perform that job through my window, so I believe that I should be able to serve alcohol in my particular case. Now I'm not talking about a large bar of 4,000 square feet or anything else. I'm talking about a room two rooms that in total come up to about 268 square feet. He can perform the job, and his exact words to me were, when I said to him to please write to his higher ups, stating that he could perform his job, he said that he would not get in the middle of this controversy, that he had nothing to do with it. And I said, well, what about me as an individual paying your salaries, and that you should be able to do your job and help us out? He said that he's not going to get into the middle of it, and I said, well, I don't understand. You work for me as well as them. And he said, don't go there, were his exact words to me this morning. Now, what does that mean to me? That my local liquor inspector really doesn't work for me as an individual, and I do pay his salaries or help to pay his salaries? I don't understand it. And I can really feel for these individuals. I know they've all tried to do some type of ventilation or what have you. I don't know what the answer is. I know what it is for me in my particular case, and I would be happy to work with anybody in creating some kind of a ventilation system, because I have researched this, and I do have a W.C.B. stamp, engineer stamp on my letter, and I could show it to anybody who would like to see it.
But you do not have the
I do not have it licensed at my...
And that's the big consensus.
Certainly
That's the big problem at this time.
I have no problem with it. I know that in my particular case, it works for me. But... it still should be licensed.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no doubt in my mind. I've had on the weekend no less than 15 different tables of people, individual tables, leave because they couldn't smoke and enjoy a glass of wine with their meal and have a nice dinner. No, I don't understand, what this kind of... I spent no less than $10,000 to build these rooms so I can serve people in these rooms properly, and I'm being told that I can't. So that is very unfortunate. And you, ma'am, if you would like to walk into my establishment, you will not smell one lick of smoke.
I don't understand why smokers think they should have more rights.
No,
than
we don't want them to have more. You're wrong.
Than all the murderers and all the...
You're wrong, ma'am.
What the hell is she talking about?
We don't want them to have more rights.
Do you know what you're talking about?
We want them to have equal rights.
Per capita
Equal rights, not more.
Vehicles.
Equal rights.
No, you don't. You want to kill more people than vehicles, than airplanes, than all kinds of other...
No, ma'am.
Yeah, you do. You kill more people.
So you
tobacco people.
I do not manufacture tobacco, ma'am. I do not
kill. You smoke it in front of everybody else's face and promote hooking kids on it.
Then ban cigarettes.
Oh yeah, that's what...
Which is
Well, then take your form to that.
That's exactly what I got.
At least you have a choice. You don't have to enter a place that has smoke. You have a choice, right? We do.
Customers.
Right now, because I'm not working, but when I
have a choice,
I
ma'am.
don't have a choice. When I worked up at Fording, I had no choice. I had to get on a damn stinking bus. It was absolutely blue in there. I had no choice. I had to get on that bus to get to my equipment. If I tried to open a damn window, I was going. I got all these smokers going, close in the morning, and all this other kind of crap. And then they're sitting there saying that I'm supposed to have the same rights as them.
And you're not working there anymore, are you?
No.
Exactly.
I wonder why.
Out of the room and
I never said, I just sat there and took it when I had to take it.
You had to pay bills too, didn't you?
Which I'm sitting there.
Also, can you tell me, anybody with workers' compensation, I'm going to read this because I'm a little nervous. Secondhand smoke is not a defined gas, chemical, or solid substance. Can you, workers' compensation, give me the ingredients of secondhand smoke? Example, carbon monoxide, 3 parts oxygen, 2 parts carbon, etc. Can W.C.B. give the use of tolerable levels of each of these components? in other workplaces. Why is W.C.B. using the term secondhand smoke? It is because they thought they'd get support from radical right-wingers like you.
Well, that's the first time I ever knew of myself as being a right-winger, actually, if the truth is known.
What are you going to do?
But the thing of it is,
You're not for freedom of choice?
I mean, I've done research and information regarding
She can't answer
this
your
kind
questions.
of stuff for
This is
like
the guy
30
that has
years.
to.
That's right.
And the WCB could not answer any of these questions, Grace.
Excuse me, just a minute. Different substances, those things have been studied, and I think I can't tell you the details because I don't know them myself.
There's
This is not
pollutants
my
in diesel smoke,
there is.
welding
This is
smoke,
not my area of
but we're
expertise.
allowed, people are allowed to breathe that in.
worst.
Acceptable.
What are we going to do with cars in the garage?
As a matter of fact, I mean, when we talk about regulations pertaining to airborne substances, there are regulations in many industries, mining, oil
Nothing
and
is
gas,
strict as this
everywhere.
one. Nothing
You know,
is
and
strict
that's-
as this
More
one.
strict in a lot of places. Even mines up in Kimberley there's
This
most
legal
of the people have quit
substance.
smoking up there now.
Yeah, right.
That's got nothing to do with it, the levels of the
your
chemicals in the
information
places.
She makes it up.
I went to California. It's not working down there. It's
Just
not
been there,
working,
seen that,
especially in
done
the
that,
rural
you know.
areas. They didn't even have a town my size to compare me to when I went down there. They don't even have a town of 200, and you expect me to survive on the customer base? I gotta say no to any customers. That's too many. You guys gotta realize that we have a mortgage to make.
You do. Good
Ma'am, I
night.
wonder if individuals
Back to bed,
sat
bye.
down with someone from the board.
No point in talking to somebody that's just playing.
Nobody
I know, we know.
We've done that. I've asked
Why do you
Scott
think we're
McCoy
here?
for alternatives. He told me it was my job to police this legal substance at less income. I don't think that that's truly fair. We're just trying to hold on to our business. We all have staff that are working for us, and now we're soon not going to. Soon we're going to have a daycare or something in our pubs.
This isn't just an employer issue either.
It's a legal
Employees don't want your
I guess it's
protection.
something I would be interested in knowing, though, from you then as places of business, is that given the fact that 70% of people in Cranbrook and District, okay, over the age of 12, do not smoke.
Have you taken a survey of the places that the
70% of my customers do smoke, and those are the
My
people
customer base, 80%
and those are
more
the people
smoke.
that you're saying cannot go into my establishment.
And 90%
You've
of
taken my
workers
business.
in bars.
You've taken my business and cut the value of it in half. I can't even afford to sell my business.
And you've also said that we're going to get the non-smoker in our places.
Excuse me.
Where are they?
Excuse
They're
me
not
a minute.
coming out.
I would like to ask this officer why he's present at this rally.
You would like to ask me?
I would
I'm
like
just
to-
here to make
Did
sure
we
that-
invite you?
This is a peaceful demonstration.
There you go.
Did you come on your own initiative, or were you called, or?
If I abide by this regulation, I go under. And if I don't abide by this regulation, I go under. I have
You don't
no
wanna hear
choices. It's a
Are you on duty right now,
that
sir?
I'm in because of what you guys have
Why
done.
don't you go to
without
work
thinking
then?
about the ramifications.
There's a lot
And
of
the fact
criminals
that
downtown, you know.
The Heart Foundation used tax-free donations to fund this politically motivated survey. It's wrong. You guys
Would
really
you
should
tell
think.
this gentleman what the response of the RCMP would be if we phoned and said there's somebody smoking in our establishment? Would you please come and have him stop?
No, that becomes an issue that you must deal with administrators. I'm not an administrator. I'm a
But
street
what are
worker.
you instructed to do in that situation at this time?
We haven't been tasked with enforcing WCB regulations. WCB is looking after it themselves.
And you are telling us you just walked in here, you weren't called?
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's
No, I wasn't
okay.
aware there's going to be a
That's good, we can listen to him too.
Because WCB tells us if we have any problems, phone the RCMP. And
That's
this
right.
RCMP officer is just telling you, sir, that does
doesn't
not
know.
fall within their jurisdiction.
Are you talking about liquor
No,
establishments? or
I'm
what are you
talking about smoking in
Any
restaurants,
smoking,
liquor
anywhere.
Public
establishments,
places.
any place that
Any place.
not
Any
allowed
place.
to smoke. If somebody phones the RCMP and says, I have somebody smoking in my establishment, I'm subject to a fine if he does not quit
$500
or
fine
leave. I
if he
want you to
doesn't
come
leave.
and put him out. You'll say, no, that is a WCB issue. It does not fall within our jurisdiction because it is not a law or a city bylaw. It is a regulation. Now, is
That's
that
right.
not so?
Okay, I'm not fully familiar with how the regulations are made up, but from what I understand, they are law.
Well, you should
Whose
check
law?
with your staff sergeant then, because
Yeah.
he told
Whose
us they
law?
We're
weren't.
not going to be called to deal with individual callers W.C.B. is looking after themselves, from what I understand, with warning letters and trying to get people to comply.
Excuse me, then you're saying that certain laws you do not enforce. Only some of them you enforce. If I phone and say somebody has a gun in my face and he's wanting to rob me, he's breaking the law, you will come and enforce that. But if I say somebody is smoking a cigarette in my establishment, you say, well, I don't want to enforce that law. So you won't come.
There are certain priorities we have, and we deal with them on a priority basis on the calls that we receive.
So you will come if
So the
priorities
bus-
are low on that
I
day.
think that this is more a cash grab on the
There are
WCB's
alternate
part.
measures to deal with the incident at hand. We like to deal with alternate measures. It's the same thing as taking somebody to court. Sometimes it doesn't do any good. A teenager. It doesn't do any good to get some of them, not all of them.
Arnie
but
might
some
have
of
found one.
them, to take them and send them to court all the time. There are alternate measures you can use. Community work service, volunteer community work service, all are alternatives. There are alternatives for everything.
Linda Krug,
And WCB is trying to deal with some of the alternatives by sending warning letters, saying that these are the regulations, could you please comply? And from what I understand, from what the media releases that I've seen, is that's what they're doing.
That's why we're here.
And they're sending their warning letters based on their snitch line.
Who is this anonymous?
And who in the world?
And how does anonymous get all around the province so
The
fast?
last time a snitch line was used of this caliber was to seek out the Jews.
Who's anonymous? I'd like to see Mr. Anonymous.
Mind you, now the 1-800 number that was established for people to call in, basically, my understanding is that when information is received there, that a letter that goes out to an employer, in fact, is not accusatory. It does not say that you're outside of compliance. Basically the letter suggests that someone has reported this problem, and that if you're not in compliance, to please comply. So it's not, as you say, not being able to face your accusers.
Isn't on the letter?
No.
And then when the letter says you're going to get another 2, and then we're following it with a fine?
Yeah.
And this is a photostated copied letter with a photostated signature on it? That could just be run off a photostat machine and mailed at random?
Before January 1st? Can you explain that one?
Didn't this happen in Poland just,
Why don't let the employees vote on this? You're out to protect the employees, let them vote on this.
That's right. Yes, ask them.
We don't want it.
People work
Well, yeah,
at a
that's
coal
fine.
mine where there's
What happened to that
hazard. Like, where's my
I
rights?
think that if you happened to be a worker, though, who worked in an establishment where secondhand smoke was very prevalent for a long period of time.
We all do. We all. I have
I'm at
since I
St.
was
Martin's down in
16.
town right now because you guys put this in law. We had to lose 4 staff because our business is down so far.
But there's
You're
no
not protecting them,
record of
they're
that
already
according to the
jobs in
government.
There are 600 people unemployed in the province. Why
So
let
you
them
guys
have
gonna
a say
pay
in
our
this?
bills for us?
It's not a question I can answer, sir.
All our staff smoke. All our staff
So
smoke. You're
if
not
the-
protecting any of our staff. You're
this
putting them out of
regula-
work. You're not protecting them. You're putting them out of work.
If this regulation is in place to protect the employees, and employees are losing their jobs off of this, who's being protected here? And then the onus goes on to welfare or UIC?
Oh, welfare won't even take you.
Come on.
What I don't understand is
And how
in
can
my
you survive on
industry,
that?
I use tar, toxin, I use
That's
glues, I use everything, and I'm allowed to do that as long as I wear a cloth respirator.
When
Well, why
WCB
can't
starts
WCB
paying our
please
staff and our
wear a
bills,
respirator?
then we can
Why
tell them
can't
what
the
legal
Liquor Control
substances
Board
are
wear a
good or not
respirator?
good for our businesses. But this is a legal substance
That's
that you've
right.
asked me to police at less income, and frankly, that's just totally unfair. And the
should check
snitch
the
line
air
has to
quality
be
control on it.
unconstitutional. This has to be a restriction of
aerosol
trade
machine.
of some kind. It's a legal substance. I'm allowed to sell them still. I don't get that.
What about the fiberglass
sell 'em,
boat
but you
making
can't smoke
companies and the fuel making companies and
You're picking on our
the wood chip
industry.
companies
What about the
if you
welders,
looked
the
at what's
mechanics?
inside of an
That's right, that's
aerosol
one of
can
the worst.
compared to secondhand smoke.
Body shop work.
Body shop work
All
is
we
one
want
of
is
the
a
worst.
ventilation
It's a
solution.
solution.
You know?
A solution that's better than unemploying people and allowing our businesses to go under. Don't take away our livelihoods that we've worked so hard for. We're all honest people that you're turning into criminals.
Okay, but so as business operators or owners, I understand. Are you an operator and owner, sir?
Yes.
And you, an operator and owner, an operator
Yes.
and owner. Have you sat down individually with somebody from the board to look for solutions to your problem?
They told us that there was no solution.
They
When
want
we went
zero.
to the meeting, they told us there was no solution.
So if I was to take your name and telephone number, okay, and say, let's see if we can arrange something like that, would that work for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so why don't we do that? If you could start circulating a list of business owners and the telephone numbers, I would be certainly happy to go forward with the members of the board and the prevention division to talk about those.
You would have to work with the liquor control board that we can license.
In the meantime, we're going to be fined?
I can't speak for them. I think
in the
that's
meantime, can we have a business without being fined?
Just
not the problem that we don't want to provide ventilation. The problem is that we can't provide ventilation and
Can you hear me for a second? And that is this, is that I'm the client service manager for the board here, but I look after compensation issues primarily, okay? I'm not really responsible for prevention, okay? That's the prevention division's job. Okay, there is no manager for prevention here in Cranbrook because of the size of the office, okay? So I can only take information to them, all right, for them to work with you for solutions. But I can't, it's not my area of expertise in prevention, so I can't really offer you any specific things, okay? But we can do this. We can take people's names and telephone numbers, the name of your business, and pass this on.
Can you do one other thing for us, sir?
What's that?
Can you get a moratorium on this regulation until these things have been worked out?
That's right.
Because this is the whole problem. They put this into effect before they had all the solutions to it in place.
Well, I can pass that on, okay?
Excuse me. Your name?
Oh, my name? Constable Kersell.
And Constable Kersell from Cranbrook?
That's correct.
And you're here just to...
Keep the peace and make sure everybody's a good behavior. And they're quite peaceful. They have the statement to make, I guess, and they want to do it. So, just want to make sure everything's so fine. That's about it.
No, but they can come out and support for us. And if all the municipalities and cities come out in support of our cause, that will lend more weight to getting something done with it.
No, it won't.
It'll help.
No, you have to have a platform and wait in line until you can talk.
We have an appointment with council to speak to them tonight.
We're on the agenda.
Arranged.
But the bottom line is, like my kids tell me, but we are here, it should be citywide, every city.
Well, we're working on that.
Yeah.
You have to start one step at a time, and that's what we're doing.
One step at a time. The government, every line of government, are a rapist.
Absolutely.
They're digging in our
We
pockets.
hope this is happening all over the province.
I know, but my kids keep telling me, Mom, sound off, nobody listens.
That's
well,
right.
It's about goddamn time they dead.
Well, we're all together like to thank everybody for coming out today. And as I said, if you can make it tonight for City Council, come there too.
It's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil! Yeah! Keep up the good work! Keep the fight up! Never give up! And all the government departments are chicken, cluck, lay an egg, but not on us.
Your name?
The council knows me. The name is Jaster, Hetty Jaster, and I'm sick and tired of the bullshit the government is dishing out. It's time we picked it up and threw it back.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Jaster. I don't have the P in my name because I don't get the revenue from Jasper National Park, and I'm mad.
Hetty, spelling of your first name, please.
It's spelled the same as Betty. They spell Betty Betty. B is for bugger. My first initial is H for hellion. If you don't want us to smoke, why is tobacco being imported to Canada? You charge us enough taxes on our cigarettes. Our pleasure, just to me.
Actually, I'm not the tax man, actually. But
no, but listen, you're going to listen to me and stop interrupting, please.
Certainly, I'd be pleased to listen to you, ma'am.
We pay taxes on the cigarettes. Government officials get a hefty paycheck, everything's secret of what their raises are. Then they have the audacity to put in an expense account. MLA is never here. She must have a permanent picture to be put in the paper. The only time she's here in person is to cut a ribbon, hello, and give somebody a check.
Well, she's definitely the person to talk to that about.
She's checking she's not in town. She knew it was coming. She's never in town. And that makes me furious. All aspects of government are rapists. They're living in your pocket, my pocket, everybody else's. If parents can't work, you have a smoking and non-smoking. What about the kids? Now, years ago, it used to be called welfare. Now they've renamed it human. They don't know the meaning of the word.
Your name and who you represent?
Arnie McCann, the Sam Steele Hotel and the Cranbrook Coalition of Hospitality Industries.
How do you spell your last name?
MCCANN.
And how do you feel about the protest that's going on today?
I feel the protest today is excellent. It has shown that the people of Cranbrook, not only the businesses, are against this regulation as it now stands.
And what's going to come out of it?
We hope that the Workers' Compensation Board will become aware that this is even a more volatile issue than what they originally thought, that the people are against it, that they work for the people, and they should listen to the people.
And is there going to be any further protests or action taken today, or?
We are making a presentation to City Council tonight at their regular council meeting. That's all been arranged and we're on their agenda.
Okay. Thank you.